So this video that has been going around in the past, I would say, a few hours. This whole thing with Ronda Rousey. Uh, I saw the video on YouTube. I saw the full length of the video and everything, explaining what has been happening within the past several days. Explaining about what took place Monday Night Raw, and then while they show clips of it, they show clips of her with Natty and a few other people going to, I think, Pat's cheesesteak and, eating cheesesteak and everything else like that, which is pretty cool. I like that. The ending of the video was interesting, and I know there's a lot of people that feel that Ronda Rousey has turned heel. And is she didn't turn heel. I don't think this is the thing. I don't believe she's a heel. I don't think she's a heel anyway. And if that were the case, why is Natty there? That some people haven't figured that out yet. Ronda Rousey has always been Ronda Rousey. I think it was just a matter of time before that Ronda Rousey comes out. The one that competed in the UFC and the one that competed up against some of the best and beat them within 90 seconds, somewhere around 90 seconds or less. And it was one of those things that I have told people in the past. Ronda to be anything yet. Even though she's champion, she's going to develop, she's going to get better, she's going to do what she can, and then it'll be a matter of time before she turns heel. Now, traditionally, when a heel turn happens, it's when the fans boo and start screaming at the person and start saying things like, "How could you do this to us? How could you done this horrible thing to us?" Nowadays, when people turn heel, it's cheers and applause and all this other stuff. And it really, and with all due respect, it really pisses me off when I see that, because the fans are just anticipating the heel turn to happen, and they just want to applaud that because, yes, this is what we fucking wanted. Yes, this is exactly what we have to get. Yes, this is what we fucking wanted out of her. When I look at it as, are you fucking stupid? I mean, come on. I mean, this chick had just turned on this other chick, and you want to applaud that? You know? And it's always been so funny with the wrestling fans, because the fans are tired of the babyface thing, and then they want that person to turn heel. And that's how it goes. The same thing with, let me give you an example of that. An example would be possibly like The Rock, for instance. We're so tired of seeing how The Rock was when he was a babyface, and then all of a sudden he becomes the most electrifying man. He becomes entertaining, and he started developing, and that was a good thing, you know. And this was the thing. I mean, I was with the fans with that and stuff, because Rocky Maivia was, not that good at all, and then The Rock, it was a different person. This is what that person should have been. He became so good as a heel that fans were wanting to see him become a babyface afterwards. But then The Rock stayed a heel a little bit while longer, because at that time Stone Cold was still the babyface. He was still hot. He was still what he was. Then The Rock, he was becoming a babyface too, but he decided to buck tradition, which he did. And it was good timing on his part. And then, of course, he became the heel. He became the WWE champion. He was with the biggest heel of them all, Vince McMahon. And then, of course, WrestleMania came along, and then Rock would move on to become an even bigger star afterwards, which worked out for The Rock very, very well. Another example would be the fact that the whole thing with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Now, I will admit that I knew all along that Becky was going to have to turn into a heel one way or another, because fans have always liked Becky Lynch, right? Becky has always been who she is. But when they mention about someone turning babyface after SummerSlam, I kept wondering who it was. It can't be Carmella. It cannot be Charlotte. So it's got to be Becky. So if that happens, well, that works out perfectly because Becky has never been a babyface. Becky has never been a heel. Becky has always been loved and respected. And why not give it a chance? We'll see how this goes. So all of a sudden, SummerSlam comes around. I made a prediction where I said that if Charlotte wins the title, and say you get the scenario where you get to just be friends and everything, then all of a sudden you turn on her, and that would work. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Becky Lynch goes ahead and turns on Charlotte, and it's like, oh shit. But the thing that's funny is the reaction of the fans. The fans were excited that she turned heel. Instead of the traditional, we should boo Becky because she turned heel against her own best friend and she did all these horrible things to Charlotte. We should boo. No, I mean, that was years ago. Now it's like, oh, we should cheer her because, yeah, she fucking beat the shit out of fucking Charlotte, man. Finally, she gets what she deserves. And finally, Becky's going to get exactly what she wants, and that's become women's champion and the whole 9 yards. This is a totally better Becky Lynch I've seen in a long, long time. There's the difference. The fans were always behind someone like a Becky Lynch to turn heel when you're cheering her like a babyface. And it's always been this confusing battle that every wrestling traditionalist goes through. The fans have always cheered for the bad guys. They always do. But it's just all so crazy as to how this is. Now, with Ronda did get cheered. Everybody did cheer her, but I saw it as Ronda was always Ronda. Ronda was always Ronda. Ronda never really turned heel. Everyone can say that she turned heel, that she did this, that she cut the WWE universe by the fucking nuts and everything. Tell them go fuck themselves. Damn the man, screw the wool, fantasy fairies, no more Mr. Nice Bitch and everything else like that. To me, this was Ronda. This was Ronda. This had nothing to do with a heel turn of any kind. This was Ronda Rousey from the start, and this is what they should have got out of Ronda Rousey from the beginning. You know, I don't see a heel turn just yet. I don't feel a heel turn coming. But I have always felt that if the heel turn is going to take place, it's got to take place after WrestleMania. You got to get the fans to hate you so much. And right now, Ronda was hated. Now I think she's loved, but also at the same time, I think there's a mass confusion of why is she breaking kayfabe and why is she saying all this shit and why is she doing this and doing that? Because for the first time, I think she's frustrated. And she's frustrated with the way this is being turned. And the fact that I think in the video she had mentioned something about that they gave her something to talk about. They gave her something to say to the fans, but Ronda wouldn't go for it and she went a different direction. So that kind of tells me, okay, somehow, because sometimes I often think that sometimes you can, you know, when I heard the words, it's scripted, it's fake, la la la, and everything else like that, here's the thing. I'm not going to hate her on that. She's just being real with all of us. And that's the truth. She's being real. And while all of us are, you know, some people will be like, oh, I can't believe she said that. That's so embarrassing. I mean, at least Brock Lesnar didn't embarrass us. Let me see. I found that comment very, very funny right there. Brock Lesnar, even though he, you know, did what he did and everything else like that, Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar. People don't get that. Even if he was a heel, even if Brock Lesnar was a babyface, he is still who he is. He hasn't changed one fucking bit. No one has figured that out yet. Ronda's the same way. Ronda hasn't changed anything. She just became a different person. That's all it is. Now, if Paul Heyman were added to the Ascension, then maybe she would turn heel. I don't know. But to me, Ronda is still Ronda, just like Brock is still Brock. So if the fans are going to go ahead and start getting upset at her just because of this, just because of that, just because she broke tradition and all this other stuff, here's the thing. Name one person that has not done any of these things. There's a lot of wrestlers over the years that have always broken tradition, that have always got in the face of tradition and said, fuck them. Who cares? Who gives a shit about what they want? This is what I want. This is what I need to have. This is what I deserve. This is exactly what it is. So while the fans believe that Ronda's a heel, Ronda has always been Ronda. Ronda's doing what she does. And here's the thing. Ronda can get mad. Ronda can get pissed. Ronda can get upset like any other human being. You don't think Becky Lynch is getting upset and getting mad too? Of course. The same thing with Charlotte Flair. The same thing with others. There's always a way to look at things from a heel perspective, from a babyface perspective. But if you cheer on a heel, then you don't get it. If you boo on a babyface, you don't get it. If this was the other way around, then you get it. Then you understand it. But in this case, we don't get it anymore. We just don't. Because fans will always cheer on the villain. Yes, you cheer on the villain, that's good. That's the way it goes. But in this case, the villain's not really the villain, and the babyface is not really the babyface. It's just that person. That's it. Ronda is still Ronda. That's the bottom line. And Fastlane is coming this Sunday, and as I mentioned on Twitter, I feel the matchup should change. It should be Charlotte versus Ronda. And if Ronda wins, Ronda gets Becky back in the match, and Charlotte is out the window, and then we get the one-on-one match we want. And believe it or not, I mean, a lot of people say that Becky is losing her momentum. She's not really losing her momentum. It's the fact that the momentum is being lost because the McMahons are not doing their job. And their job is to put the singles match that we all want. We get the triple threat match. Okay, we get the triple threat match. It won't be the same, but we're going to get it one way or another. We're still going to get the same ending. How's the ending going to go? The ending is going to go where Becky wins the title. But if she beats Charlotte, well, that could mean something. If she beats Ronda, it's going to mean a whole lot. A whole lot. You know, but nonetheless, the video, like I said, Ronda is still Ronda. I don't see a heel turn yet. Until WrestleMania, until after WrestleMania, you may see the heel turn. But for now, Ronda's still Ronda. That's how it goes. I mean, it's. I know some people are confused about that situation, but